What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for February 12th, 2024. This week, we got way more insight on what 323 might look like. The monthly report shows a huge change in the way CIG is developing gameplay and the game overall, and we're only getting one good week of video content. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, so stop by and say hi if you guys haven't yet. But before we go into this huge week, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring today's video. Growing up, I ate cereal every morning, sugary cereal at that. But this year, I made some goals, and one of those is to consume much less sugar. And Magic Spoon is making it easier to achieve that. Magic Spoon cereal has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs in each serving. It fits a variety of lifestyles as it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, wheat-free, and it's naturally flavored. I got the variety pack, which comes with 4 different flavors: fruity, frosted, cocoa, and peanut butter. My favorite is fruity. It brings me back. It's that same taste I remember with grown-up ingredients. Click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code SaltEMike at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/SaltEMike. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. So start off the new year right by clicking the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use the code SaltEMike for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/SaltEMike to save $5 off your order today. Once again, thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring, and we got a lot to get through. We're going to start out with the patches that we had this week. All right, and we'll start out with Tuesday. We had a 322.1 PTU patch. It's important to differentiate because we had a lot of different PTUs and live things going on this week. On Tuesday, feature updates. The only real thing there was Gravlev balance, and it's the only real change to PU. More on that later. Arena Commander is where all of the updates for this patch was. It was basically an Arena Commander update, similar to the Siege of Orus and stuff we were getting in the PTU before. They added a new racing mode, exclusive Gravlev vehicle racing, and it's actually quite fun. But like most things in Arena Commander and Star Citizen in general, it's really unpolished for now. But you got to try Clio Islands. It's super, super fun. Tons of changes to master modes. They replaced Endless Vandal Swarm with Pirate Swarm. They added atmospheric maps. They also have more ships to test, and the entire list, not just new ships, but the entire list of ships you can try: the P-52, the Gladius, the Buccaneer, the Super Hornet, the Vanguard Warden, the Connie, and the Hammerhead. Connie and the Hammerhead are the most interesting right now with the changes that have gone on. I see a lot of people complaining that the Connie is overpowered. The Hammerhead is amazing. This is a must try if you have some friends to play with. A crewed Hammerhead in Atmosphere is dominant against light fighters, as it should be. It's like we're getting to where the game is supposed to be and should have been for a really long time. The last change I want to discuss around master modes is that all shields will simply be bubbles. You won't have shield faces, for now being the key word, or words, I should say. And if you move your capacitor to shields, it adds 50% energy damage reduction and 25 to ballistic damage reduction. So really interesting thing there. Gun Rush got a huge shakeup as well, changing most of the gun lineup based on the feedback over the last few months. And then Thursday, we had another 322.1 PTU patch, with the testing focus being the main focus of this actual patch. There's some event that they're planning. I'm assuming that it's Xenothreat, because that's what Jared had talked about was in testing on last week's SCL. So this has to be what he's talking about here, but it's different. You're going down to bunkers and doing data heist type missions for it. So who knows what's going on with Xeno, or if this is something new entirely, but I wasn't able to try it, so let me know what your experiences were like. Leave it down in the comments. The rest of the patch was less than notable. But to the live servers, not on the PTU, we have some events. We had 2 in-game events launch on the live server. So Lunar New Year and Koramore. Koramore is Star Citizen's version of Valentine's Day, and Lunar New Year is Lunar New Year. For Lunar New Year, there are like all the normal events of picking up envelopes and things like that. You turn them in for 500 Alpha UEC, and then just like on the website events, I think there's like some contests and things going on. There are also new Arena Commander game modes, and one around Lunar New Year is called Kill Collector, where not only do you have to down players, but a coin drops where you do. And if you collect that coin and get 12,000 points, you win. A kill is worth only 25 points, but a coin is worth 500. So this is pretty cool. On your first win, you'll get a collectible to your hangar. And with this, you also get a sale of ships and some pretty cool ship skins, things like that, both for the year of the dog and dragon, because in 2024 and 2954, they fall on 2 different animal years. And lastly, for I guess Lunar New Year stuff, there's a separate kill collector mode for ship combat that has the same Lunar New Year coins, but there isn't any reward for winning any games here. And I didn't enjoy this one as much. Like, people steal your coins a lot, and just flying the ships in the current flight model is not very fun. Valentine's Day, along with the normal ship skins, armor sales, and everything else, they added another new game mode, which isn't so new. It's the fight or flight game mode that they did at CitizenCon. It's 2v2 duo. If you win that mode, you get a collectible in your hangar as well. Both are really good time. You should check them out. I'm obsessed with the FPS kill collector. Just a note on the 2v2 duo, if you won early, as soon as like the patch came out, and you weren't the top scorer, you did not get the reward. So if you didn't get your reward for 2v2 duo, give it a try again, and you should be able to get it. And then Friday, we had a PTU patch, which wasn't much to share. There's a few minor fixes. The more impactful ones seem to be in Arena Commander. Then on Thursday, there was a second replication layer. On Thursday, we had a PTU update, a live update, and a test preview update, by the way. And it did not go well. I waited 30 plus minutes for my server to recover, and the servers I was testing on, that was just the one that I was testing on, none of them ever recovered. There were 2. One was 2 hours waiting before I even got there, and that one never recovered, and the one that I was on that I waited 30 minutes on never recovered as well. And I think this really leads us well into the roadmap updates, where they touch on this a little bit further. So like we just spoke about, the test did not improve off of the first one for the replication layer. So we will not be seeing this as previously planned in 3.22.1 or .x or whatever they were planning. The roadmap update lets us know that they're moving it to the 3.23 column, which also doesn't mean that it would be in a first live patch. This could be in 3.23.x as well. And let's be honest with ourselves here, we need server meshing. So we need the replication layer sooner than later. But what we don't need is for the game to be like the last replication layer test. We need it to be enjoyable. And that was not a good experience. They got to make it a good experience, and it doesn't have to be great, but it just has to be good. So let's hope they don't have to really throw us in on the deep end and, make us suffer too much when it comes to replication layer, similar to the way 3.18 was. Now, there was one card added to 3.22. They added the Gravlev Racing to the PTU, that we were just talking about, and the 5 new dedicated maps for it. The rest of the cards are going to be added to the 3.23 release, and making the discussions that Jared had on ISC and SCL a bit more official. And I think there's some surprises. So I'm going to start out with the surprises. Mobiglass rework. This comes as sort of a surprise. We know the star map is being added, so it was sort of expected, but what is it going to look like? We know it has to be completely reworked, and these are the apps that we know we're getting. We're getting maps, obviously, home, contract manager, which hopefully is a huge update to the current one, and journal apps. Then for personal instance hangars, these are kind of separate. The personal hangar being at your home location, but like the reason that I'm even bringing this up, we know this was coming, this isn't a surprise, but the way it was communicated is, well, now we know that our personal hangar is at our home location. But does this mean other hangars at other locations will also be instanced? I assume that is yes, because you have to manage cargo at them, right? So let me know what you guys think about that one. That just popped in my head. I think it's very obvious that that's how it's going to be, but maybe I'm missing something. Let me know. Then freight elevators, item bank, and recovery. Freight elevators are an obvious inclusion to the new hangars. The last update we saw, they have 960 SEU. Maybe that's changed. Plenty of room, though, for the largest cargo ships that are hangar-based. Now, they're creating a new system to deal with our FPS items. They've talked about this on previous ISCs as well, but they are talking about recovering account-bound items. I have a lot of issues with the account-bound system and the fact that every ship skin is the gun plus the ship skin instead of a way to apply it. I discussed a ton of this in my React video on the roadmap update, so check that out if you guys haven't yet. So, for just the general idea of it, though, is that it makes no sense. Item duping is not good. Hopefully, this is just like an alpha thing and is temporary, and almost definitely is, right? Cargo hauling. This one is the most surprising. We are getting cargo hauling missions. I feel like they were very, very quiet on these for some time, so I'm happy to see how they will work. Specifically, they discussed that they will have reputation. Is this going to be the old reputation or the new reputation? Big thing to check out there. FPS loot screen. Last we heard about this is that it was really going to be a challenge to add to the PU and deal with armor and things like that, because we only saw the squadron designed loot UI. But here we are, and we have yet to see the PU version. I absolutely expect to see an ISC on this at some time. The dynamic event, Blockade Runner. The write-up on this event is very weird and vague. I don't think there's anywhere in game to buy Quantanium, so not sure how all this is planned to work. The expectation might be that you make Quantanium. They said buy it. I don't know. But hopefully the only time you can buy Quantanium is when the event is turned on, because what used to happen is people would just buy medical supplies. It's kind of lame. Also, this is not a dynamic event, right? We still haven't added that dynamic apart to dynamic events, and we're making new ones. Personally, I don't know if this is how it works, but I would love if they focused on entirely making events dynamic instead of making old events new and new events old. It's just, yeah. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Just my personal feelings on it. Reputation. Hostility, this is just the beginning, but it's a really good beginning. We really don't know what sort of impact on all of our actions will, kind of mean here. The last sentence about different friendly fire thresholds hopefully allows a little leeway to make a mistake and attack a guard by accident in an FPS mission without much penalty. I don't know. How do you guys read this one? You let me know. And then 323 cards that we already really know about. Star map is going to be happening. The new FPS minimap is a thing. Dynamic crosshair is going to be a thing as well, and we know a little bit about that. EVA tier 2, we saw a ton of this last week. The new character customizer, I think they showed in great detail at CitizenCon. Distribution centers, only the surface levels, and rudimentary missions. Sounds like a good start. No surprise here. And then the last two, player interaction experience, all the Fs are going away, and master modes. Great. I mean, 323 sounds awesome. Now, lastly on this, there seemed to be a bit of confusion, not just with one specific content creator that people were losing their minds about, morphologists. A lot of people were like, April, blah, 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 and it's like, wait, guys, every single, except for 3.1, we're on 3.23, Q1 patch has released in April or very close to it. And again, this is the live release, so I want to be very clear that 323 will be in your hands before April. It's probably going to be in our hands sometime in March. We're almost midway through February. It's not that far away, right? So it's not that big of a deal. We're going to get a PTU. We're going to try some of these features. It's going to be fun. And it sounds like it's going to be buggy. So with that, let's move on to the monthly report. As always, when we cover the monthly reports, I'm picking out the interesting items that I think you guys need to hear, but I do not cover it all. For that, check out the React channel, check out the link in the description. I cover it more thoroughly on the React channel, so you guys can check that out. AI tech, I usually want to skip these things. This update is in 322, though. You can literally try it now, but it's largely gone unnoticed. Apparently, AI in Arena Commander has been completely overhauled and is much better than before. Personally, guys, I haven't noticed much of a difference. Have you? Apparently, it is very different, maybe from the game dev side, but the interactions still feel quite similar. Character art. Felt like this was worth bringing up simply because we might actually find out what a racing suit could provide in terms of advantages. And they also mentioned legendary armors, which we saw the Dusters version a few weeks back. Ship art. This is interesting because the Zeus is in gray box, which is a bit of a surprise because they're not done with the Polaris yet. At the same time that the Polaris is also in gray box. So this is really cool that they're working on both together. They also mentioned a couple of unannounced vehicles, right? So the normal ship update there. But again, 2 RSI ships at the same time being created, and it sounds like this pipeline is moving a lot quicker for ships than before. Economy. This is only just worth casually mentioning because it's a small bit here. They're just working little bit by bit each month. This is the process that they want to do, and it's not that they're doing too little. I think I do see some comments about that. They're doing all the groundwork to hopefully deliver us something worth engaging with. Nothing in the game currently is worth engaging with from an economy standpoint, so they have to start from scratch, and that's what we're dealing with. Is maybe a good comparison is before you're making the pie, you need to get the ingredients, and I think they're getting the ingredients right. Core gameplay, there is so much here. This is clearly the longest section of the monthly report, but the reason is because they put all the teams together pretty much into one team now called the core gameplay team, and this is really awesome. They're finally doing something that makes sense. Like, notable things here are the Arena Commander team. We're finding out what they moved to. They're working on a system I am super surprised to hear, Maelstrom already, and transit systems, which famously failed during 3.18 and other major technical hurdles, which is important to be hardened for server meshing. We also learned that they absolutely will still be working on Arena Commander, but the most important thing that we're probably going to hear this entire week in review is we are still getting the engineering experimental mode. This is amazing news. This is how it needs to be done. I can't imagine a better way of doing it because putting a couple ships with engineering in the PU just doesn't seem right. Anyway, I love the change, an entire studio coming together to focus on gameplay, something I have begged for on this channel for years and years and years. It just feels so good. All right, and then the video update section is going to be quite short this week. This week we got the exact opposite experience from last week. This episode focused on branding in the game, and the focus was really on the developers who made the branding and their internal processes. That's cool, but it's not really for a show that is trying to share you game updates, right? Same thing with Star Citizen Live. Publishing and Corporate Technology was the title, and it went the same for SCL. Yeah, we heard from really cool people like Ahmed, Mike, and John, who almost certainly at some point have held this game up on their own. But this episode is not where we're going to learn much about 323 and beyond. It's where we learn about the people. So link is in the description for this one. It was a great episode. There's just nothing to cut out from an audience standpoint for you guys, right? So with that, let's move on to other updates. All right, and this basically appears to be either the Zeus or the Polaris, but it also seems to be in white box, which we just learned that they're past and they're in gray box, so they're either showing us something really old or maybe something new, one of those unannounced ships. A lot of people seem to think it's the Zeus or the Polaris, though. So let me know what you guys think down in the description or the comments about that. And then subscriber updates. Similar to the last few updates, nothing special here. The $10 flare is 2 in-game posters. So the $10 one is very suboptimal compared to the $20 one because you get a weapon, which ties into what I hate about I guess the skin system is that you're not getting the skin, you're getting the weapon plus the skin, which you can no longer lose, which we learned about in the roadmap update. So why would you ever engage with players who are, finding rare guns in the game, things like that, right? It's very anti-game in a lot of ways. And then you also get you get a themed Cardinal rifle. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. And a pink shotgun is the exclusive store item. Now, that'll do it for this week. And I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. Don't forget to check the link in the description for Magic Spoon right at the top or in the pinned comment. They've been super supportive of us. So support the people who support us. And I do want to give you an update. If you can't tell, pretty teary-eyed. I've done this like 15 times already. My cat, Lola, if you guys watch the stream, she's a very big part of it. They found a tumor on Friday. So we're kind of figuring out what we're doing there. We have to talk to an oncologist tomorrow. So if you don't see me as enthused about a stupid video game that doesn't even exist or work or seems to be at any time soon, I'm caring about the more important things. So if I'm not streaming as much, or if my YouTube videos aren't good or coming out, or the podcast isn't as fun, that's why. We've all been there. If you've had pets, so many people supported me on Twitter about their experiences, and I'm almost envious of them because they're past the stage that I'm in now, and remembering them and loving the memories. So it's tough. She's family to us, so we love her. But I just want to say thank you guys, and hopefully you understand over the next little while here, hopefully a long while, we'll see. But hopefully you guys understand. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.